do our best. So we're recording. Happy community pairing. Nicholas, I believe you have something to that we can get started on.
Yeah, let me. Where is it? Yeah. uh, so I'm currently working on the scheduled merge feature, so you can set a time which will block the merge of merge requests until that time has been reached.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's like almost done. Last part is now making it actually usable for the users by implementing the front end and the controllers that set these values. And I have something that works for setting. Well, I have something that works for setting the value, but I feel like kind of ugly because it works, but it probably shouldn't be done this way. And the problem is if we, yeah. When editing the time, like um, uh, so when editing the time, it's as passed as one of the parameters to the
Yeah.
controller. The problem here is that merge after isn't a field on the merge request itself, but instead on a separate model in that. So I so I have to. It has to be set separately. It can't be just set via the update method on merge request. But the update merge request service is kinda complex. Yeah, where is it? Oh, yeah, merge requests update service. Yeah, because it inherits from the merge request base service, which in turn inherits from the issuable base service, and the first or the place where I would add it is in the handle changes method, but that's too late because the other services are already calling the update method with all the parameters on the merge request, which will throw an error because the merge after property is not a field on the merge request. And it's kind of difficult to find the correct place. So what I did to get it working is to build something so it looks like it's a parameter on the merge request, which then sets it to the other model. But I'm looking for something better.
Hi. We just had a new joiner, Sujal. Am I saying that correctly?
Hi.
Hi, I'm Ariana. We're just going over one of Nicholas's merge requests about uh it's a merge request about a merge request schedule. So he has found a way to make it work, but is looking for a prettier way to do it. Am I correct?
Yeah. I've mentioned this on the merge request. It's for this feature itself, and there's also another concern from a reviewer, and this is calling the save method like hidden inside this setter method.
Mhm.
So assigning this property would directly save it to the database, which is probably for most people not an expected thing if you don't call it save manually yourself.
Yeah. So where
So
does
it's not just me that doesn't like this solution.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird pattern, but I definitely see why it works for now. So that you're doing that on the actual model.
Yeah, because if we because this is a place that will throw the error because the merge after key is not on the issuable, which is in this case the merge request. But I haven't found another place where I can pre-process these parameters, and in fact I'm already pre-processing this parameter before even giving it to the service, which also isn't a great thing because we have to do it in both the merge request controller and the controller that handles the creation of merge requests. So we have this duplicated in two parts. And then the hack with defining the setter on the model that it delegates to the separate model.
So sorry, I'm not familiar with this part of the application at all. So there's the merge request model, and then there's a merge request review model as well. And you need to update on the merge request review model.
Yeah, it's merge schedule instead of a merge review, but yeah. I first planned to add this as a simple property onto the merge request model itself, but that raised concerns about database performance because the table already has so many columns. And the preferred way is to not add additional columns to it.
Yeah. Okay. So you have your merge request, and then is it like a foreign key? Is merge schedule like a foreign key with merge request?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's basic Rails in basic Rails associations that connect the models. Yeah.
Okay, and then sorry, take me back to where the setter is, where you're calling the save.
That's inside the merge request model because that's the issuable that gets passed through the merge request update service and through the merge request base service, which then goes through the issuable base service, and from there the assign attributes method uses the setter, and the setter then builds the merge requests or the merge schedule and sets the merge after value and saves it to create or update this record.
Would there be a way to do this in the background, like after the merge schedule? I'm still not totally getting the data model, but after the merge schedule or after the merge request is created, could it kick off a job to update the merge schedule?
Yeah, the best solution would be if it would fit into the update service, or probably even better, the base service. The problem is to find where we can properly set it. But I see I see you doing some things already before going to the general service, so that could maybe be a place. But we don't know. Do we have something like this in the create services where we have it? Maybe.
The merge request is also created with the service then. If you're talking, Nicholas, I can't hear you. Nope, I wonder if he's having Wi-Fi issues.
Oh, yay. Internet is back.
Yeah, did you drop for a second?
Yeah.
Do you mind sharing? Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah. I don't know how much of my thinking still was able to be heard or seen, but what I noticed is we do already process some parameters before passing it to the base services. So maybe I can put my part into here and then also in the create service. That will then, if I can, then I can remove that parameter from the parents that get passed to the other methods, which will prevent this problem.
Yeah.
So that sounds like, yeah, let me start with the update because
Thing to try.
So now the question, is that better? Do I like it more or not? Because so what November currently set, so let's go back to October.
Is it just still updating?
Yeah, it's
It's still just refreshing.
Yeah, it's still loading. It's always slow after changing some Ruby.
Yeah. You're using Gitpod?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just looking into the user experience of that. For me, who's very impatient, it was quite slow. But I mean, it's very low configuration, so there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, and it's a lot better than like I had GDK locally before,
Mhm.
but it was like taking 95% of memory.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big one.
And before I switched to VS Code, I was using IntelliJ for so GDK was taking 95% of memory, and IntelliJ was taking 95% of CPU. So they didn't thought about it. They just had the things what they wanted, but it was like everything else was kind of unusable. Ugh. I could fail to save after its foreign key was set to nil. I don't like that. So, and we have another joiner.
Hello. We are just going over Nicholas's PR, or sorry, merge request. In
Yeah.
our uh merge
I know
request
what's going on.
regarding so it's a merge request on a merge request scheduler. And right now we're trying to find the best place to set the schedule and like in kind of the Rails flow. So right now we're experimenting with putting it in a service.
Yeah. So I can show, for some understanding, I can show what I had to just get it working before, and this was a hacky setter method that created the association and set the value and saved it. But it's not like you would expect a setter of a variable to just already create objects in the database or update them. So now we're moving it to the service.
And
Is
did
that
either one
what
of y'all have something to work that you wanted to work on? Because we can make sure to have time for it.
I don't really. I just started. I do have a merge request in the docs, and it's not a big deal. Um, so it's not.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you want us to go over it, feel free to shout and we can.
yeah.
Or
So
you're welcome to hang out too.
if you want, you can, because I found something that would work for me now. But we can also continue with so uh,
So what's the problem you're trying to solve?
the problem is like um, I don't like how I implemented it to just get it to work, and now I want to find a better solution. And so currently more like moving code around to the more correct places than where it was before.
Are you familiar with Rails or MVC? Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically we have the merge request model, but the property is set on a different model, which is merge scheduler or something. Um, and so trying to figure out how to get the merge request when the merge request object is updated to also update this other model. And
So like an
so,
after call, like an after hook.
yeah, that's definitely valid.
So what I'm looking for, where is the request? Is it? It's already so much. So we are having this merge after property on the merge request, but it's not on the merge request itself, but on an associated model is a merge schedule, because we don't want it to add more columns to the already very big merge request table.
Mm-hmm.
And
But yeah,
now the question is like, where is the best place to put the code for updating or creating this model? Because putting it like hidden in a setter of this property on the merge request model feels kind of wrong.
Yeah.
so why not in a hook, like an after hook, as he's suggesting, or
How
after
do we
action?
how do we get the new value into the after hook is my question back to you now then.
Yeah, no, I built this a long time ago. It's like with Rails version 1. So
Oh, yeah.
That's quite a long time.
So I'm very iffy on the details. But it seems so like looking at other models or other frameworks like Fast API or Flask. So you would have that function and you would pass parameters to that. Now I don't know if that's still possible with Rails.
Yeah, the after hooks also, as far as I know, they are more like invoked by Rails itself and not after we update it. So in GitLab we do use this pattern of having services for actions. So in this case, an update service. And I think this is probably the best place to put it, because that's where all the other updating logic also happens.
There you go.
Yeah. So, according to the docs, the controller action has already been run. Let's see. Because the controller action has already been run, they have access to the response data that's about to be sent to the client. So just theoretically, would that provide the data you're looking for if it's the response data? I don't know if that makes sense. I think we lost him again.
Mhm.
My internet is really not liking me today. Already the second time. But it does look, in fact, like this is working like before. So I do like
Nice.
this solution a lot more. Now,
Do you need to add logs?
Not sure. Everything else in the update service also doesn't log explicitly their fields that they update. So I don't think we need special logs for exactly this property. Mm. not sure. So, is this true if we, or do we get inside of the condition if the merge request doesn't have a schedule and we don't set a schedule? Because then we don't want to create this model with a nil value. So, okay, this merge request doesn't have a value set. So, this will be true. Okay, so we don't want that. Doesn't have anything set now, doesn't it? No, okay. So we do need a different way to check it. I think this is the way to go for it. So still no schedule set. And yeah. Oh, yeah. Answers will be false. Okay. So, and this is also false. Great. So updating should be good. This is, no, it's not good. Okay, now we are back at the problem I had at the beginning, but only for the case where we don't set this value explicitly, but like have an empty, yeah, if it's empty.
So if it's null.
Yeah. Because previously with the params.key, it would be true even if we don't want to set this value, and this would cause us to create the association and create it with a nil value, which we don't want because it doesn't make sense. Now that we don't delete it from the params, it's getting to the place where it shouldn't go again. It's to the assign attributes on here, which will throw the error because merge after is not on the merge request itself.
What about blank rather than present? Like on line 19 rather than present with blank.
Yeah, but not blank, you probably mean. Because if
Or
it's
nil.
yeah, but if it's set, if if it is not blank, then we want to set.
Yeah,
What's this?
because present is like, isn't present like has key?
No. Because this is from Rails in with the params that can be passed like empty as not set. So what we of course just could do is just delete it anyways from the params if we don't do anything with it. And
Yeah, so present just checks whether an object is not blank, i.e. not nil, empty, or
what am I
blank
even
string.
doing here? That's so wrong.
I think we might have connection issues.
Yeah, he's having a tough one today.
So another suggestion, I think he recognizes that line 26 was duplicated, so he's changing that on line 23. And so my suggestion was if we're going to be deleting this key anyway, we don't need the else parameter.
Mm,
It would be
Yeah.
after line 27.
Yeah.
Or sorry, else block, sorry.
Yeah. I think that maybe what he was doing on 23 was a mistake. Because he was like, what am I even doing here? So we'll see when he gets back. But hi, Fatima. This is Fatima, developer
Hello.
advocate extraordinaire.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm waiting for the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
I did wake
It's
up
only
this
Wednesday.
morning and I was like, at least it's Friday. And then looked at my phone and it's like, oh wow, I'm really off.
I thought it was Thursday, and then I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Okay. Like,
We're almost there.
not that I want the hackathon to be over. I want that to keep going great, but I'm tired this week. I haven't been sleeping enough, I think is the problem.
That's
Yeah.
definitely a problem.
Are you drinking mate, Fadi? I don't, you just changed your name on it, so not sure what your name is.
Sadie. Yes. How do you know
Yes.
Mate?
Because I went to Chile and Argentina once, and everyone's got their little cups of it, all the 24/7.
Yep. So I lived in Uruguay. My wife is from there, and yeah. You have coffee and then you have this for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it with the caffeine, but it does look really nice. I like to have like both tea and coffee, but I think mate is a little strong for me. Are you back,
Can
Nicholas?
be.
Yeah,
Sort
I
of.
hope. It's
Willkommen
really-
wieder.
Hmm?
Willkommen wieder.
Ah. Some weird grammar, but good enough.
Thank you.
Close enough.
Fatima, are you also in Germany?
Yeah. Yes,
Sorry?
Or what?
No, we're in the
Sorry, I was asking.
US.
Okay.
Me
Yes,
and
yes.
Fatima. I'm on the East Coast. She's on the West Coast.
I'm in California. I was doing the math and I thought it was an hour ago, and then I was like, wait, oh, -3 is 11. And I was like, they might still be going.
Yeah, no, I was having a nightmare with the scheduling because Meetup wouldn't schedule because was stuck in Pacific time, and it said that 11 a.m. Pacific time had already happened, which it hadn't. And then Discord wouldn't let me set, because I was just going to set Discord event to UTC, but it just auto took my time zone without telling me. So I was just like creating it like, hopefully this is all in the right time zone. So we all show up at the same time.
But that happened in my head and I got it wrong.
Yeah, time zones are a fun thing.
I
I
have like
already had fun with this in this merge request we are working on currently.
Yes, and it's what the merge request is about.
oof.
Yeah, it's not what it's about, but it's a part of it because the user needs to select a time. So no.
So was that part of, like, is that a requirement? Should the time be set or?
Yeah, it's like if the merge schedule is something like a user can select a time after which this specific merge request can be merged. So you can say like this merge request can't be merged before next Monday at 8 o'clock or so. And that it's definitely required that you can set it in the correct time zone, because because it doesn't make sense to like say I want to have it merged at earliest of 8 o'clock, but I don't care which time zone 8 o'clock. So the easy way is, what we are doing here currently is a user can already set their time zone in their profiles or in their profile settings, and we are using this because it's making it a lot easier than also giving the user the way to select the time zone and converting it from there. So basically, we are doing what Discord does, and made you area a bit confused about the time.
Yeah.
But did you fix your code?
But we do show the time zone that the user has set in their profile to the user, so they know they set it in their time zone.
What time zone are you in, Fadi?
Same time zone as Fatima.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in
East or
Vancouver,
West
Canada.
Coast. Oh, nice.
West Coast, best coast.
So I'm the only one from Europe here.
Yes, but we're happy you're here.
Yes.
We're
glad you're here.
This is our new time. Well, not our new time. We're gonna start doing, I think, Thursdays at 3 Eastern to have an American friendly pairing session, because the other one that we have weekly is more European time centered.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the American time works better for me than the European time.
Right, probably. Do you have to work during the day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Bummer.
Where are you, Nicholas?
I'm from Germany.
Germany is a big place.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Not as big as the US, but I'm like, I have about, if you take it straight, about 2 or 3 kilometers to the border to the Netherlands.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Very north.
Yeah. Not necessarily north, but more like west side of
West.
Germany in the northern half. But
How
not
far?
really north.
How far are you from Wolfsburg?
I
know that's not how it is said. That's my best. I guess pretty far. I'm looking at the border. It's farther than I thought it was.
Oh yeah, that's a bit.
Yeah, farther than I thought it was. In my mind, because I had gone from Berlin to Wolfsburg, that I was like, oh, it's all the way west. But no, there's a lot more west that you can go now that I look at a map.
Yeah, if you take Google Maps, it's like I'm like a drive of like about 4 hours,
Yeah, wow.
around 400 kilometers. So
I was in Germany. I was in Munich for a while working there.
ah,
So my German is very bad and very rusty. I think the correct
Yeah,
way of me saying welcome back should have been willkommen zurück or something like
yes, great.
that. It's coming back.
yeah. When I was there, all I got was like ein Kebab, bitte. That was like my whole. I just like that's all I needed. Ein Bier. Every time I tried to speak any German, people would just speak English to me. Like they're just like, don't even try. You're embarrassing us.
Ein Schnitzel, ein Bier, ein Brezen. There we go.
Normally, if you just stick the mug out, they figure it out.
Yeah.
Cool, Nicholas, did you want to return to pairing, or are you gonna just kind of do that on your own time?
I can do it on my own time because also VS Code is currently not liking to reconnect back to the Git pod workspace after the
Yeah, and you keep
multiple internet
dropping.
disconnections. So and we have figured out where it can go in a much better place than where I have it currently, and so we can definitely look at something else if someone has something.
I mean,
I have a Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh no, mine's not something we can actually solve. It was just a general complaint about something that's not working for me. But I think
What's
it's a
not
duo
working for you?
access issue. It won't let me do
Oh.
the troubleshoot command. It just gives me an error saying I don't have access. Well, it's an error that's like, it may be one of these three things. But I think that Daniel
I think I've heard this from some other team members as well, that they had problems with accessing some Duo features. You
Yeah.
could solve it for you pretty easily by just adding yourself to the Duo users from the community forks and
I
not
thought
needing.
I was already in there, but I'll definitely take a second look. I
Uh,
just posted it in a channel right before we hopped on.
Yeah, there's a difference between being an inherited member. You probably just
Right, and the
inherit.
direct member. I think you're cutting out again. So did either of you guys have anything you wanted to talk about, work on?
So
Oh,
there's
yeah, before this meeting, everything worked fine, and now, like, I think the first problem was after 25 minutes in the meeting, and since then, it's yeah.
you could have either a firewall issue, network connectivity issues, or something upstream that you don't control. When I set up, so I've got OpenSense running in my setup, and I had turned on network discovery on the WAN, and that started killing all of my Zoom meetings every 5 minutes because the ISP, of course, was shutting me down. And then it would time out, and then I'd be back up.
So it could be something as simple as that or something else.
No. For
Um,
me, it's like I'm losing, my computer is losing the connection to the router more like instead of completely being down.
Yeah, maybe the router just needs a reboot.
Yeah.
The other thing is if this happens all the time, it could be something in the building that's interfering. So water pipes, microwaves,
An
fridges.
interesting thing, before this meeting, it was working perfectly fine, and just after we started, it was getting these problems.
You
I
know
think
that
it's
guy
because
Murphy?
oh yeah, I was complaining that Gitpod was too slow, and then Zoom was like, "You want too slow? I'll show it to you," and then just keep cutting you off.
So does anybody know about this danger bot?
Yes.
So I wrote my first MR for updating typos, and it's just for a specific word. But it's asking, so it's saying this merge request might require review from a coach engineer. Is this because it's part of the onboarding, or is there something else going on?
Nah, this you're probably changing some architecture blueprints, right? In this merge request.
Just a word, a typo, just
Yeah,
fixing a typo.
but in an architecture blueprint file, I guess. So some of the most of the messages are based on what you change in the merge request.
Okay.
So it's not like because you are a community contributor or so, but more like you changed some specific files that require review.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Normal GitLab team members also get these messages.
It's an interesting bot. I wonder if I can set up something like that for some of my projects.
Danger is an open source project that you could use and configure how you want it. GitLab mostly, I think, in all places uses the Ruby implementation, but there are also, I think, for JavaScript there is an implementation, and wait, let me look.
I was just looking at it earlier. I think it's JavaScript and Ruby. I don't think.
JavaScript, Swift, Ruby, Kotlin, and Python. But I don't know how well all of these projects are already developed, because the Ruby one is, as far as I know, the original one, and then they also implemented it for some other languages, but they might be different in what they are able to.
Cool. Well, if no one has anything else, we can wrap up here. Thank you all for joining us. And we should start having this, not this time, but a Thursday time, a Thursday West Coast mid-afternoon time, probably next week. So keep an eye out for that.
Will do.
Yeah, thank
Sounds
you
good.
guys. Have a good
thank you.
one.
Sounds good.
Thank
and
you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Nice seeing you.
Bye.